Hello everyone, this is Sam. In this second video dedicated to the changes to Druid, we're now going to be talking about what it changes in terms of team comp and in terms of the builds that you would be running. So first of all, let's give off as a reminder the trait that has mostly changed. That trait is Grace of the Land. Instead of putting its own boon onto people, it is now pulsing might with each stack of Grace of the Land that you would previously give. This means that you have the ability now to be topping off the might of the entirety of a raid squad with your Celestial Avatar skills. That includes, of course, the glyphs you can use due to this trait, Verdant Etching. Now, what it means, however, is that you will have to build slowly into boon duration. The reasoning behind this is that you will want to be able to give more than just the baseline 6 seconds of might that are shown within the tooltip. Now, if you want to use this skill properly, you will want to have at least enough might to last over 10 seconds. This can be achieved very simply by having just over 66% boon duration. Indeed, the baseline duration of 6 seconds then becomes 10 seconds, which means that after each weapon swap and thus after triggering a quick draw, you would be able to go into Avatar and use the skills out there to then give all the might that you wish to your squad. However, there are a few different builds that are now being offered to the general public to be using within your raid squads. Personally, I think that the best way to go about making these own builds is to look at what your static will need the most. Personally, I would run one dedicated healer druid in the most damage heavy encounters. That means that I will want that druid to have as much healing as they can take, as well as healing modifiers, all the while making sure that they will reach that 100% boon duration. This is not necessarily the outlook that other guilds would have at this very question, as has already been shown by Quantify, Snowcrows and Lucky News, all of which having already posted the healer druid build that they intend to play into more hardcore content. They all are planning to run a full Harrier dedicated healer druid, and I think that this is a most valid option. Personally, I am going to be running a mix match of gear in order to get exactly what I want out of the build for what I wish to accomplish with it. You can also work onto your own builds by using websites such as guildwars2skills.net in order to make sure that you reach exactly what you set out as a goal. In the build that I am running, I have decided to go for the potential swap between sets. The reasoning behind that is that when you are going into Fractal, if you have, just like me, exactly the 150 AR, you're going to be getting 225 concentration as pure stat bonus from the mist potions. Now, what that implies is that you will want to be able to drop off 225 concentration from your gear to go into the Fractals. This is going to be accomplished by swapping the weapon and the helmet off in this build. Now I'm going to be presenting the red variant of it. The armor is most necessarily Harrier except for the leggings that are Magi. The weapons are Harrier as well, and the trinkets are mostly Magi except for one earring and the back piece being Harrier. Now, what this allows me to reach is this sweet spot of 67% boon duration, which is then topped off by the presence of a superior sigil of concentration on both weapon sets. I have decided to go for a superior sigil of transference as well, because it is gonna be allowing me to dish even more heals. Now, a lot of people might be looking at this and saying, but aren't you most definitely overhealing? And actually, they are right. This will most probably overheal in most of the scenarios you will be exposed to. However, we are looking at something which is all-purpose at the moment. This should definitely be run into pug groups or when you are being the single druid in a damage heavy encounter. This is by no means a be-all and end-all, this is just my take on what I think is a properly built build for the situations described before. The rune that is used is a superior rune of the monk because it also gives this outgoing heal effectiveness. By stacking all of these modifiers, which are, by the way, additive, you are going to be able to dish out some crazy heals in an AoE around you. Now, I think that this covers the presentation of the healing build that I intend to raid. If you are going to be using it into Fractals, you simply swap the weapons out for Magi counterparts, as well as the headpiece. Since I have legendary armor, this is made relatively simple, and I simply have another set of weapons that I can swap off to for this situation. So a set of Magi weapons consists of a staff with concentration and transference, sword with concentration, an axe and a warhorn with transference. The reasoning behind this is that we will also be able to stack full duration regen. The other set is in Harayar and is exactly with the same sigil, just different stats. Now, the reason why you will want to have that full boon duration, apart from Grace of the Land, is of course for Windborn nodes. This is one of the other traits that has made Druid shine as of lately, due to its capacity to stack long duration and high individual ticks of regen. This, coupled with the fact that the Druid has extremely high burst heals, allow it to be more than just the Phalanx Strength Druid of the party. Now, of course, this requires a little bit more effort to maintain properly, but playing with Windborn nodes implies that you would have a Warhorn, which will also then allow you to stack Might for your subgroup. Now that we have covered all of these points, I will be covering another build which I am borrowing from Lucky Noobs, and more specifically from Roka, because I believe that it represents the best build if you want to be stacking the same might but as a Condi Druid. Gonna be swapping the gear out and getting you back right after. We are now back for the second part of the video dedicated to Condi Druid with, as I said, a build that has been showcased by Easy Roka from Lucky Noobs. This build is using a most interesting rune set in order to be getting some boon duration as well as Condi duration. Roka had the idea to use the superior rune of the Travelers, this one being given to him by Nico from Snowcrows, and indeed it is a most interesting set because it's gonna give you 15% boon duration and 10% Condi duration. As such, we are losing out on 5% Condi duration that we would otherwise be getting for the Nightmare rune set. However, from this trade-off we get the 15% boon duration, which, coupled with once again a super sigil of concentration, will allow us to reach some very interesting values for our full end boon duration. Now the traits are exactly the same as the usual druid, what you would be running as a classic one. And for the rest of the gear, we're still on full Viper, with the exception of the shortbow sporting a Malice Sigil versus what we had previously on Druid. Now, I am not definitely sure that this will be the better build, but it is already offering enough possibilities to be played in a proper raid squad. This is probably not something that you would be running in your usual pug runs, however, if your group is a little bit organized, for example with voice comms, you will most definitely be able to run this without many hiccups. The rotation is exactly the same as what you would be doing on a regular Condi Druid, with the exception of after using the first skill after a quick draw of going into Avatar in order to be stacking the might. Apart from this, the build is used exactly the same way, and if you wish to watch a rotation, I will be adding a link towards the video from Roca in the description. Now, before ending this video, we're gonna have a look at something that I didn't exactly go over either in the previous video, which are the consumables. For the people asking, all the consumables that I have are for the various Druid and Soul Beast build that I am playing on a regular basis. These two are the Power, Food and Consumables, so bowls of sweet and spicy butternut squash soup, as well as tins of fruitcake. These are the ones that I use when I play Power Might Stacking Druid, or when I was trying Power Soul Beast. However, that is pretty bad, as such you should not be running it. The next food is the Prickly Pear Pie, which is the one that I use when I am playing Condi Druid. The reasoning behind this is that the lifesteal allows you to generate more Astral Force and thus to have more reliable access to Celestial Avatar. Next, we have the usual Condi food and consumable, the Koi Cake and the Toxic Focusing Crystal. The reason why I am using the Koi Cakes, despite their duration being lower than the Toxic Focusing Crystal, is because I usually have the time to use 3 and 2, which makes it a proper rounded amount, and the fact that Koi Cakes are literally dirt cheap on the trading post. The next consumables that I have, this one is more dedicated to World vs World, what I'm running over here, and as such doesn't have the similar impact onto what we are looking at for raids, but the next two consumables are what I would be using on a healer druid. This gives you some extra healing effectiveness, and this one does as well. The reasoning behind using both of them is to get even stronger heals, although you will most definitely at one point be out healing. Now, if you have any further question, you are more than welcome to ask them in the comment section of the video, or you can contact me on Discord in order to get some answers. I am available on the quantify.eu Discord, where I write ever so often in the general and ranger chats, and I am also available on my own Discord as well as in PMs if you wish to contact me that way. I hope that all of you have enjoyed this video, and if you did so, make sure to leave a thumbs up as it helps tremendously. If you wish to support my content for further videos, you're more than welcome to use the Patreon link in the description. Now, I wish every single one of you some happy raiding, and to dish out them heals.